So now you can see the requirement documents have been completed. It's hardly been like 5 minutes. So you can see detailed functional requirements, everything generated by the agent. You can use, you have seen that we've just given a single line prompt, an entire overview of what the solution should be. Users can supply assets, user can borrow, user can repay loans, interest rates are updated, transactions executed on the base chain. Uh, and of course, the detailed user experience as well. What is the success metrics, user journey, all different user journeys. So it's quite amazing in the sense, what used to take, say, weeks, months for us to even write these documents, a PRD or a full detailed functional requirement is now has been written in exactly 4 minutes, which is quite amazing. So let's have a look at where we are. So right now is designing the architecture. So once the architecture is done, actually quite a bit has probably, and then we'll have the backend contracts, deployment, front end, which will be designed. Once the architecture is done, we can come back here. I think it's being written as we speak. It's a very detailed architecture that has been written. So as you can see, lending pools, lending pool core, price oracles, interest rate model, liquidity manager. This is super detailed with just a single line saying clone Aave. This would hardly take a few dollars in stables that you would have to pay our agent, but it is generating a complete DeFi application, which is quite amazing. I mean, I've never seen anything like this. And the beauty is you can go ahead and change anything you'd like. If you think user should supply a certain minimum amount, or user should supply only stables or should supply only the top 20 assets in terms of market cap, you can change anything you'd like. You can change even the requirements overview. You can even change it in the architecture if you're a little more, technically aligned. And accordingly, the code will change. So the architecture is even being designed in more details as we speak. We just had one more file that was created, the contracts. So this is the architecture of the contracts, and this is incredibly complex. You can see that, there's 1,200 lines of a full design architecture that has been written. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 contracts. So price oracles, interest rate models, lending pool. What are the assets that you can supply or borrow? And the core lending pool as well as another lending pool contract, liquidation manager. I mean, this is super, super detailed, and everything is just being created as we speak on the call. And that is pretty cool. As you can see, it's 3 minutes up and we have already created, the full architecture as well as the entire contract architecture. And this is extremely complex. So if you are even, I mean, just imagine, right, before AI, what it would take to create this. It would easily take at least a month to write this architecture. It would take a team of at least 4 or 5 people to do it. Whereas now we've created in 3 minutes. That's it, just 3 minutes. And that is extremely cool. So yeah, it is really, really cool. And I think this is going to really change the way Web3 apps are going to be built from December onwards. So, from in the next few weeks, once we launch, it's really going to change the way Web3 apps will be generated, created, built, managed, deployed, everything. So, as we can see, even as we are speaking, more of the architecture is being designed. Once that is designed, we'll have the task list for the backend, smart contracts, deployment, and front end. Once we go across each of those tasks, we can create the full application with just that single line prompt that we wrote, saying clone Aave on base. That's it. And we can go ahead and modify that. As you can see the chat here on the right, we can go ahead and modify that, use any of the models that you would like. Go ahead, modify that with our agent in terms of, say you want additional features. You want to restrict certain assets. You want to change the interest rate calculation. You want to change the liquidation calculation. Everything can be changed just through chat. So as we speak, the architecture has been finished, and you can see here another file has been created. How the front end should look, the entire uh, framework has been generated. Now this is quite amazing, and it's humongous. I mean, it is close to 2,000 lines. Um, and just see, you have the whole architecture written here in terms of what is the back end, front end contracts. You have the entire contract framework given here with 6 different contracts that have to be created. You have the entire front end as well here. As you can see, you have to show borrow balance. You have to show what are the assets available, um, the existing position of the user, what are the available assets that the user can borrow. Everything in complete detail has been built. And I mean, this is really amazing. You can create 1% teams on Web3 now. Our aim is to build or enable at least 100,000 dApps to be built on EVM chains. Right now, we are doing on Base, but you can do on any EVM chain, and soon you can do on any chain. And soon you will have, say, zero knowledge proofs that you can implement. So just chat and say, add zero knowledge proofs so that say, outside, other than me as a user, anybody else as a user cannot see the size of transactions or the size of liquidations being done, hide those transactions. And you can just write that on chat and that can be built for you. We are looking at integrating very interesting protocols like Zama, which has fully homomorphic encryption. You can build on Zama chain, deploy on Zama chain as well. And many other chains that we look to integrate as well. But this is really, really unique. We are creating the task list as we speak. Backend contracts, deployment, or frontend. Once those are created, you'll be able to see them here. So we'll wait for a couple of minutes. It's been about 10 minutes since we started this, and it's already designed most of the application in terms of the framework. We'll wait for a couple of minutes, after which we'll show you the tasks that have been created, generated, and then we'll go into deployment as well. So let's get back in a few minutes once the task list has been created.